Hello everyone, back tuning in to CANSIPS Saturday. So we're going to go 6 months ahead just for fun with the long range Canadian CANSIPS model. So this is going to take us from next month, from August, right way through to January, can you believe it? Now, I could go beyond that through into June 2017. I'm not going to go back far ahead. I'm going to draw the line at 6 months, and even 6 months away, it is highly dubious looking that far ahead just with one model. So do bear in mind when we do these CANSIPS update and also the CFS ones as well, that it's just for fun. The charts are there, so you might as well look at them, but don't be taking it too seriously, whatever you do. The CANSIPS model can be found, or the charts to the CANSIPS model can be found at the website tropicaltidbits.com. We are using Tropical Tidbits for this update. And big thank you to the guys at Tropical Tidbits for allowing us to use their website and their charts. So I'll get on with CANSIPS Saturday in a second. Before I get on with that, though, just to say about the ads. So links to articles on all the pages. You have a browse through the widgets and click through the links. You'll be helping to pay for our website. And thanks so much for doing that. This video adds on most of the pages, which own our content when you watch them. They close back up again. As I say, it is helping to pay for GavsWeatherVids.com. We've done 2 updates already today, so this is the third one of the day, can you believe? Early this morning we issued the July month-ahead forecast. You can find that on the month-ahead forecast page. We've also issued the week-ahead forecast as well. If you want to watch a video to that, just scroll down the homepage a little bit. It'll be there for you on the homepage underneath the link as, which I've just spoken about. And then, of course, there's a written version. You can get to that by buttons at the top of the page. Tomorrow, we're going to have a look at winter 2016-2017 NAO forecast. I'll speak a little bit about that at the end of this update. So let's start off then with the mean sea level pressure anomalies, and then we'll have a look at the temperature and precipitation anomalies that go with that. And then we'll have a finally we'll have a look at what's going on and what model is predicting to go on in the equatorial Pacific Ocean. So I'm going to start off with August first of all. This is the mean sea level pressure anomaly for August. And what the model is doing for next month is it's placing a ridge of high pressure generally to the north. And I'm going to go over here also to the northeast of the country around Scandinavia. So that actually looks quite good for August. There is a little bit of low pressure in the Atlantic and going down there. I think the jet stream is probably doing something a bit like that, but it does place us on the warm side of the jet, I think, for August. We'd also probably be bringing in the winds from the east, which is going to tend to be quite a warm direction at this time of the year. Now, watch out for thunder, of course, coming up from the south, because you can get an undercut from the jet stream, and you can do something like that. So we might bring up some thunder at times, but overall that looks quite warm with the temperatures. Now, as we get through into September, it's a complete switch around. This is mean sea level pressure only for September. We've got these blue colours into the north and western country. All of that red has gone. And that looks very unsettled. It does look an unsettled September indeed. We're bringing the jet stream right through the country, rather like that. So it would be an early autumn that, if it came off, you'd certainly be expecting showers or longer spells of rain. And I don't think the temperatures will be that exciting either. October shows a flip again, so quite a lot of intra-month variability here between August, September and October. By the time we get through to October, we've got this area of red back again around the UK. That's an area of above average heights. It's high pressure. We'll give a lot of dry and fine weather for October. It's that position of that high pressure going to be critical, of course, between whether it's quite warm or whether it's actually quite cold. High pressure in October can be quite cold, produce frost, just depending on whether the wind is coming down from the north or moving up from the south. But I think a lot of dry weather there in October. November shows a really big change again. Now, we're 4 months away, so this is in the realm of being just for fun, but it's placing a trough of low pressure over top of the UK. A ridge has pulled out into the central part of the Atlantic. So the jet stream is probably doing something a bit like that. That could potentially be quite a coldish month, I think, in November. You'll want to take that trough a little bit further to the south and the east, but nevertheless, I think we could be bringing in some fairly cold air at times, actually, into that trough, especially with this ridge through the central Atlantic. If we get that up towards Greenland, up to there, then we really would start to pump some cold air into that trough of low pressure. As it is, it's probably coolish and wettish, but fairly autumnal sort of autumn, I think, this, with fairly cool, wet conditions like in September, maybe coolish and dryish for October, and then maybe wet and quite cold in November. December shows a change again. So every month throughout this is looking significantly different. It's really going to keep us on our toes month by month if this is right. Now for December we start to build a ridge actually over the UK. So I think we're on the mild side of the jet there actually. The jet's probably going to the north of us in that sort of position. Could be a fair amount of fog and frost, but I don't think it's necessarily all that cold in terms of the position of that ridge. In fact, it could be a fairly mildish month. It's 5 months away, so not worth worrying about. And then we go through to January, and this is 6 months away, of course. So again, it's in the realm of just for fun. What we see in January is a big area of high pressure is being centred just to the south of Greenland, out to the northwest of us. Which would turn the winds into that sort of direction, I think. So that could be quite a cold January we're seeing there. To get a really cold month, a severely cold month, you want to take that further north and centre it up here, which will then open the door from the Arctic. We're probably not opening the door from the Arctic on that. But nevertheless, I suspect that could be quite a coolish month with the flow doing something a bit like that. Every month throughout these 6 months looks significantly different from one month to another. So it really will be keeping us on our toes. So let's have a look and see how the temperatures are stacking up then. So we started off in August. Remember, for August, it's only 1 month away. So in theory, this should be the most reliable part of all of this. And for August, we're actually coming out with quite a warm month. It does look quite pleasant indeed, with temperature is generally around 1 to 2 degrees above average. That'd be a very nice August. We're overdue a warm August. So, well, just fingers crossed, I think, that that is how things are going to pan out. We go through to September. Now, remember, that looks a much more unsettled month in September. The temperature normally is lowering. It's still generally a little bit above average, but it's certainly not as big a deviation as we have in August. Moving through to October, that's when the high pressure is centred over the country. And for October, temperatures are near normal. So it's a bit inconclusive, actually, as to what's going on in October. You can get very different outcomes from anticyclonic Octobers. It can be very warm if you're dragging up southerly winds. It can also be really impressively cold if you're bringing the air down from the Arctic. So the exact positioning of that high pressure would be the all-important factor in October. November shows the temperatures again around average, so not a great deviation there in either October or November in terms of those temperatures. And then we go through to December, and that also is looking average with the temperatures. So again, no sign of anything desperately cold, but except for August, no sign of anything particularly warm either. And then we finish up in January, 6 months away, just for fun. Again, that one is also looking about average, although if we come over here, probably can't make this sound, probably not worth getting excited about, but there is a little bit of blue there sent across Central Europe. That's colder, a colder than average temperature anomaly for Central Europe. So I think, although these charts are generally showing near normal temperatures, with August excluded, that looks quite a warm month. I think overall, it's a fairly coolish sort of end to the year, which is in complete contrast to what happened last year 2015 was a very warm end to the year, exceptionally warm in December, of course. Looks really quite different for 2016 during the latter stages of the year. Right, precipitation next. We're coming back to August once again. So we know that for August we've got a warmer month potentially with a lot of high pressure around the UK. You expect it to be drier as well, and that's what the model is indicating, average to drier than average precipitation in August. September shows a return of the westerlies with quite an unsettled looking signal. Temperatures do lower, although they're still a bit above average. Precipitation is generally average to wetter than average in September. So quite an early start to autumn, I think, if CANSIPS is right. October, it's complete change again. It goes drier than average in October, significantly so. And perhaps, interestingly, it's significantly drier to the north. So that probably implies the ridge is centred a little bit to the north of us, which would be bringing the winds in from the east or the northeast. And of course, in October, that's going to be quite a cold direction. So that's why the temperatures aren't up to much in October. I would suspect we have a fair amount of, probably not severe, but a fair amount of early season frost. November, it's a complete change again, and in November it goes unsettled, so precipitation is wetter than average generally, only a little bit, but it is a bit wetter than average in November. December, that shows that it shows a north-south split, so it's drier in the south with a ridge probably centred there then, and low pressure to the north, bringing wetter than average conditions there. So as I say, we're probably on the mild side of the jet for December. So although that temperature anomaly actually looked near normal in December, because it's drier to the south and wetter to the north, it's probably a mildish sort of December. And then finally, we finish up in January. I say I could go further ahead to that and show you February, March, April, May, June 2017. I'm going to draw the line at January. So we're going to finish 6 months away. And again, it's generally drier than average to the west. And also to the northwest of us there. So the jet stream is probably doing something like that. And I suspect we could be bringing cooler air around that ridge, something like that. So perhaps a cooler looking signal for January. Really interesting though how every month is very uniquely different from the month before and the month after it. So it really going to be keeping us on our toes, this, if it's right. Okay, I just want to leave you with the latest on La Nina. So this is the sea surface temperature anomaly for the world for July. And so for this month, and of course this is the region we're interested in. It's the ENSO region with Peru over here and Indonesia over here, and this blue signal here is the signature of La Nina. Now in July for this month, the model is just predicting rather a weakish sort of La Nina going particularly central base. Let's see what it does as we go through. So in August it develops this a lot more. That is a La Nina in August. It's not a particularly strong one. It's sort of weak, maybe to borderline moderate in the central region. But it's definitely a signature for La Nina because all ENSO regions by this point, from Peru over towards Indonesia, all ENSO regions are cooler or colder than average of sea surface temperature. So that is a signature for a weak La Nina to be in place by August. September and October continues this, and in fact it does strengthen a little bit. So by October, certainly in the central equatorial Pacific anyway, we're probably up to sort of neutral, well I should say we're probably up to moderate ENSO La Nina event taking place in the ENSO region. So by the autumn, CANSIPS want to place us into a weak, just about moderate La Nina event. And then interesting, we go through to November and December and we see a weakening take place. Now normally you would expect La Nina to be strengthening through to Christmas. Very similar to El Nino, of course. El Nino continues to strengthen to Christmas. That's why it's called El Nino. It's sort of associated with Christ Child. So it normally reaches its peak around Christmas and then it'll weaken in the middle and latter stages of the Northern Hemisphere winter. What CANSIPS wants to do is have this La Nina at its peak around September and October, and then it weakens it into November and December. That would be quite unusual for it to do that. But anyway, that's what the model wants to do. So by December, by the time we start winter, we're actually having just a weak and fading La Nina event. And as we go into the early part of 2017, it continues to fade away as you would expect. And I'm running on further than I should. This takes us in towards the spring. By which time, look at this, it's just showing by the spring of 2017, this is actually June 2017, and it is showing possibly a re-emergence of El Nino, a warm event. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but it's not worth worrying about. It's about a year away. So let's leave that alone. The ENSO signal is quite interesting, though, up to the end of this year, because it does show us being in a weak to borderline moderate La Nina by the early autumn. The La Nina, the cold event, reaches its peak around September, October, unusually, and then fades at the very end of the year. Would be quite unusual for that to happen. In terms of the actual weather, so every month is looking very different. Looks like we could get quite a nice August, so that's the good news out of all of this. It's only a month away, so in theory it should be the most reliable part of all of this, and it does look quite nice for August. September looks very unsettled. October, perhaps cold and dry. October looks wet and cool. And then maybe a sort of a zonal signature for December if it'll go quite cold in January. That's 6 months away, so it is just for fun. Right, that's it for CANSIPS Saturday for this month. I think it'll be CANSIPS Sunday next month, so come back for that then. Later on in the month, of course, we'll have the CFS 6 months look ahead as well. Right, tomorrow we are doing the NAO forecast for winter 2016-2017. This is going to be the very beginning of the winter updates. It's going to be sort of our starting point, if you like, from which we'll build everything upon once we get through into the autumn. So a really, really, really interesting day coming up at Gaz Weather this tomorrow. Do please come back for that. And I'm just going to say that on Monday I'm going to be starting a bit of a fundraiser here at the website through Just Giving for the Warwickshire and Northamptonshire Air Ambulance. There'll be much, much more about that on Monday. But come back tomorrow for the NAO forecast for winter 2016-2017. Right, that's all for now. Thanks for watching.